out there, which would be a mega fight. What about fighting Floyd Mayweather one day? You and he in a ring together. In a boxing match?
I'm open to discussion. Come at me. But I hold the key. It's me who holds the key to the fighting. And I'm open-minded. I'm open to discussion. I love competition. I love fighting.
Fight, surely.
I'm all about them numbers, Gareth. So I would certainly do that, no problem. You're chasing your dream and you're working hard, chasing something you love and completely dedicated. It just happens. You can't really notice it. You know, even still to this day, I'm in an amazing position in my life, but I'm still working like I'm not. I'm still working like I'm not in this position. I'm still working like none of this is even. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just something I look to do and I just keep pushing. I can't pinpoint the exact moment for you, but if anything, I always felt like it was happening way back then. And now it is happening, but now I almost feel like it's not happening. You know what I mean? And I want to push to something else.
Around John, yeah, I said this. I'm sure you are probably all thinking in your head, this guy is talking absolute dribble. He's not going to do what he says he's going to do. He's probably all sitting there thinking that. Now here we are again. And I done what I said I was going to do. I feed off this. I love this stuff. This is what gives me energy. Saying I'm going to do something. Putting it out there for the world to see. And then going out and doing it. There's no better feeling in the world than that. And it's as easy as that. Say what you're going to do. And go and do it. I've been listening to them laugh my whole career. I've been laughing. What? An Irishman with a cage wears world title? Hell no. Are you serious? An Irishman to win a world title? Hell no. He's all talk. He's all hype. He's a joke. Laughter all around like the Joker. Then the Joker goes and wins the world title. Then he wants to win the second world title. More laughter. Listen, the sound of laughter and the sound of doubt motivates me. So I'm enjoying it. I see that. I don't feel no doubt. I don't feel that. Come on, these are UFC bones right now. They need to rise up right now. Around there. I'm in this situation where people are truly doubting me, like they doubted me at the very, very beginning. And that's motivating me. That's what's going to drive me to the gym. I need to go to the gym to put in that work. They said it kicks too hard. Too many weapons. The other side's gonna fall short because it's not out. It took me 2 million seconds. As far as the fight, keep being conscious inside 4 rounds. The movement, the power, the ferociousness is not experienced this. It's about people who shied away from him. I don't fear him. If this was a true fight, it wouldn't even take 1 round.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Guys, go ahead and put a 111 in the chat right now if you guys can hear me. I want to make sure that the audio is working well. Perfect. What's up, Mike? What's up, Price, Cisse, Miles, Lex, Coda, Carl? Appreciate you guys. All right, let's go ahead and get straight to it. First and foremost, I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your night to hop on this call. You know, the point of this call, for those of you who are on, is to continue to refine your strategy, continue to sharpen your blade. You know, I used to do calls with whoever would get on a Zoom with me, you know, years ago, just to try to sharpen my blade. Literally, the only way we can get better in these markets and in this world is if we're constantly refining our blade. You know, obviously, a lot of you have heard the story where, you know, Abraham Lincoln was given 7 hours to cut down a tree, and they asked him, you know, how would he spend it? And he said he would spend about 5 sharpening his axe, so that we only had to spend 2 hacking at the tree. Whereas, you know, the average person would just be hacking at a tree with a dull blade for the entire 7 hours. So it's just always about, you know, trying to keep leveling up, reaching new heights. I'm going to put some music on. This is how I mark my charts up. So, you know, I'm going to vibe out. I have the Trade Vendor playlist. I did put it in the Manifest channel for those of you who are looking for some tunes to vibe to. But I'm going to put some music on just to vibe out. For those of you who caught the US 30 trade that I put out today, you guys can see we didn't have much drawdown at all. We had the before and after. I can go ahead and show you guys the before and after. We can talk a little bit about that, because once again, guys, this was a live trade. This is a pair that I'm actually been really back testing and studying a lot on, so you guys can see it was around 11.24. Now, what I want you guys to see here is we had that shift in momentum that we always talk about. We had that 30-minute crossover. We saw bearish momentum, and I knew that was enough for me to want to hop in the trade. And obviously, I showed you guys our first take profit was 28.22, and our second was 27.63. Now, as you guys can see, 28.22 got smashed. Talking about 400 pips. So, you know, at the end of the day, you guys can catch 400 pips on a single move. You know, some people could, you know, some people could be really happy with that and just be good to go. Now, once again, like we talked about last week and, you know, on previous calls, all we got to do from here is maintain this order. All we got to do is essentially find our point A, which is the wick of this bearish move right as the crossover occurred, and our point B, 0%, is down here where we actually saw a true level of support. Now, as we can see, 23.6, which is a continuation / consolidation area, has been broken. So now we can expect 38.2 to 50% retracement. Now, once again, guys, we could have been happy with this move right here. You know, even as we measure this one move right here, we could have been very happy with that. 390 to 400 pips. So that's something that's always, you know, once again, understand US 30 is a different beast. But if you use proper risk, it would have been no need to stress. You know, you could have used a 0.01. You know, you could have used a 0.1 and obviously, you know, made some good money. But once again, stay around 0.01 with this pair and just get used to how it moves. Let's go over to our usual pair that we talk about, Euro USD. But before we do that, let's go ahead and bump to the DXY. Now, I want to remind the 40 people on this call, I know there's more people hopping on as we go, but I'm actually only going to be able to be on this call until 8:45, 8:50 area, right? We actually have a presentation coming on this link about the different AI softwares that we have. So I'm going to have to hop off and let them use the link. So I just wanted to let you guys know we're going to be as intentional as we possibly can be. I'm going to try to give you guys as much sauce as possible. And I'm going to give you guys a 5-step plan on how to enter trades, literally starting from scratch. I'm gonna literally wipe a chart clean and we'll go through a 5-step plan on finding trades. Okay, perfect. 43 people. We got the call recording. It's 8:09 p.m. on a Monday night. We are alive and blessed. Let's go ahead and hop into it. Last week we talked about the DXY, and as we can see currently, you know, we do have some bearish push. Now, even as we go to the top-down analysis, we can see on the weekly, we still have that overall bearish momentum. Obviously, we can see as well that so far at the beginning of this week, this candle, and I know you guys are trying to zoom in order to be able to see this. Once again, it's the weekly time frame. So don't, you know, you don't have to put too much weight on it. Obviously, you guys can see we do still have that bearish momentum. The red is over blue. So that's just something to keep in mind on the higher time frame. Now let's bump down to daily real quick. All right. Now we can see once again that we did have some bullish momentum these last couple weeks, and now price is trying to decide, does it want to, you know, stay above this level of support? Remember, guys, resistance turns support. Resistance turns support. So as we saw some actual resistance in this area, price actually broke above it, came down, retested, and created a higher low. And now it's going to be interesting to see what actually happens with the dollar. Now, once again, daily time frame, this candle's complete to the left. This white one that we're looking at, this candle right here is complete, but this one is not. You can see there's still 22 hours and 48 minutes left. So always remember, we need to look at complete data. Now, once again, the red is over the blue, but they're pretty close together, so that still doesn't let me know a whole lot. We could see a crossover as this candle continues to form. Let's go to the 4 hour. All right, 4 hour, we actually do have a clean crossover. As you guys can see right here in this area, this bearish candle created a clean crossover. Now we can also mark a 4 hour level of support. And the importance of marking up the dollar, once again, guys, if we have an understanding or an idea of what the dollar is going to do, that allows us to maximize other pairs. And what I mean by maximize is that allows us to have a higher probability setup. It's like if you keep an eye on the dollar and you try to understand what it's going to do, that gives us a much better idea. Now, as we can see, 4 hour time frame, once again, we do have a bullish engulfing. So it will be interesting, even though, you know, these previous moving averages are saying, hey, there's some bearish momentum. On this candle, at least as far as price is concerned, we do have a bullish engulfing, and we are seeing a level of support be tested, which was actually, you know, just a previous low. Once again, remember, guys, on our fib levels, this is not a higher low. These wicks are not a higher low. Remember, this right here is a higher high, and then this right here is a higher low. Just notice the candle comes down, and we have a bullish candle as well. We're not just talking about wicks, right? This is like 23.6. Even if I measure it out for you guys, you'll be able to see it's not enough, right? It's not enough. These are wicks, guys. Where are the candles? 23.6. No candles are down here at 38.2. Notice. But what happens? It retraces. We get 100% a bullish engulfing. And now it'll be very interesting to see what the dollar is looking to do. So let's go ahead and bump down. Now we're going to hop down to the M30. Remember, our rules are weekly, daily, 4 hour, M30. Okay, what do we see on the M30, guys? What do we see? We see the bullish momentum, and we see a crossover. I mean, as of right now, as of this second, the dollar has gained some strength. Okay, the dollar has gained some strength. This could be very well just a 100% retracement on the 4 hour time frame, letting us know that we could anticipate some bullish momentum from the dollar. Very interesting, very, very interesting. And once again, we are still just creating another low. This is not a higher low. This is just a low because it's the same as the previous one. So it'll be very interesting to see what the dollar decides to do. Now, guys, think with me here. If the dollar does in fact break this low, then we could be expecting the dollar to be bearish for the rest of the week. If it does in fact continue to push and break this level right here, right, this high, expect the dollar to be bullish for the rest of the week, in my opinion, in my opinion. So we're kind of at a crucial testing area. When we bump down to the M30 time frame, we are seeing some bullish momentum. Now let's bump back to the daily real quick because this brings up something important. You guys can see that these candles all still, for the most part, have respected this structure swap area, right? So when we look left, we can see price tested here, price tested here, it tested here, and then on the other side as well. So anytime you see price, actually respect a structure swap area, that will allow us to understand, is that an inverted head and shoulders in hour 4? Carl, yes, it is. Yes, it is, Carl. 100%. And so for those of you who can't see it, I'll show you guys where it is. I was hesitant to point out the market structure. I didn't want to confuse anybody, but good job, Carl, on pointing it out. I want everyone to see this. This is crucial. So we actually had our first shoulder here. Adam Montrell, perfect. And then we actually had our second shoulder right here. And this is inverted. You guys can see our head is down below. Shout out to Roddy Rich. There it is. There it is. Smile and wave. So we do have an inverted head and shoulders on the hour 4 time frame. this is important. Once again, for those of you who do like to trade patterns, you do like to trade market structure, this will give you guys an idea of what to expect. So even still, just looking left, we can almost essentially measure this move just to get an idea of how far this inverted head and shoulders could take us. So I'm going to go ahead and clone it. I'm going to literally just click on it, right click, clone, and we can literally just get an idea of you know, what the dollar could potentially do. So I'll leave that there, guys. Once again, the dollar is not something we trade. The dollar is just something that we look at to evaluate. So on M30 time frame, we can see cleaner the inverted head and shoulders. I hope this is showing up okay for you guys to see. Once again, view price as a football player. I literally see Lamar Jackson right here where price is currently active. That's Lamar, right? So just prime example, you know, let's say that this white line right here is the line of scrimmage, then we can see Lamar is looking to go run up, right, bullish to the end zone around 93.87. So let's go ahead, go back to the daily time frame. Let's come bump over to Euro USD. Let's check out EU. Let's see what she's up to today. All right, so as we zoom in, you guys can, once again, this is important. As we look left, even just earlier in the year, we can notice the type of bullish run EU was on. So the reason that's important is because, you know, just like a roller coaster, what goes up must come down. You know, it's not going to just keep going up, going up, going up. And the reason that's important is because just like yin and yang in the market, there has to be a balance. So we can't ever see something for too long, you know, too consistent. That just gives me extra confirmation that, you know, some type of pullback or retracement could occur. Now, once again, guys, daily time frame, you guys can see the blue is still currently over the red. So once again, it'll be interesting to see. I do anticipate a crossover. I do, in my opinion, I am guessing that there will be some level of a crossover from the red over blue, anticipating sells. And I'll show you guys how I potentially see that lower down on some of the shorter time frames. Even if I you know, move this up a little bit, you guys can see the wick still is around the supply and demand zone on the daily time frame. This is where price used to be support. We got a break, right? It looked like price was going to try to bust back over through that level of resistance, but it didn't. And now it's testing, in my opinion. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hit the back button on that just so we can keep our previous zone. I like to keep my zones pretty tight, pretty clean. Now let's go to 4 hour. Once again, guys, I'll repeat. I'll even put it in the chat. The best way for you guys to go through your actual chart up setup is weekly, then daily, then 4 hour, M30, M5. And I'll explain to you what each is for and the importance. And so what we're gonna do is go ahead and go through our usual, you know, our usual actual game plan. And let's go ahead and jump all the way to the weekly time frame. Now, once again, guys, we can see that overall this pair does look bullish. But what we always talk about on these calls is the fact that this red MA can definitely cross over this blue EMA, letting us know that there's more sellers in the markets than buyers. This is just weekly analysis. Once again, overall, it is still bullish. So keep that in mind on the weekly time frame. Let's bump down to daily. Perfect. We see we do have the blue and red relatively close to each other. The reason this is important is because if I was looking to see, you know, the blue potentially be underneath the red and cross to the upside, then that would give me more confirmation that price is going to look to continue to push. But I don't. I see a potential crossover coming here, especially since last week, for those of you that were on the call last week, y'all remember we anticipated price to come back up to this marked area. I haven't moved this orange box from last week's call. And we had all talked about price coming at least up to this area. This was, I believe, 61.8 on the fibs. Let's go ahead and measure it out. From this point A to this point B. 61.8. You can see the wicks once again to the T, you know, to the T. The wicks getting close to 78.6 doesn't mean that it was 78.6 retracement. What we need to pay attention to is what the candle said. Remember, guys, wick is exhaustion. Wicks, these things right here, guys, are just price getting tired. Don't be confused, right? Don't let the wicks fool you. Even if I take the candles and show you guys the line, I mean, come on, you know? Don't let it fool you, guys. You guys can see 1 touch, 2 touch, break, right? Drop, retest, right? Potential drop. Now let's go ahead, bring our candles back. All right, now, once again, we went through our weekly. We went through the daily. We're on the 4-hour. We're evaluating structure. We see, okay, we had a high, price broke support, right? It came to retest here. In this area, we have a potential head and shoulders on the 4-hour. Remember, guys, what do we just look at on the dollar? Inverted head and shoulders, potentially, right? Potentially. Now, what do we have on the euro? Head and shoulders, right? It'll be interesting. Once again, guys, we only want to get in with flow because what do we see right here? We see that the blue has crossed over the red, letting us know that as of right now, the euro does look a little bit bullish just on the higher time frame. But when we come up here to the M30, what are we starting to see? Price got tired. We had the crossover, right? So let's go ahead and bump down to our final time frame, M5 time frame. This will allow us to get crispy entries. This will allow us to essentially, you know, have a much better idea of when to enter. Now, the importance of that is the fact that, as you can see right now, even on M5, price is still bullish, right? We have this small crossover. So let's wait. Let's be patient, guys. Let's be patient. The key, once again, like I talked about earlier, is sitting on your hands until something looks phenomenal. Because even if I go ahead, let me take away these retracements so it doesn't confuse you, right? Even if I go ahead and just look at this right here, we can see that on this push alone, this is probably like 23.6 continuation. So I want to see a double top. I want to see something on the higher time frame that's giving me the confirmation, that's giving me the idea that this is just going to be a wick, and then price will look to potentially cross over here again. Once again, I'm big on my moving averages. I need to get in with flow. I need to get in with flow. All right, perfect. It's 8:23. Let's go ahead and bump to GBP USD. I'm going to literally mark my charts clean from everything. This is for you guys. Once again, you know, I take those charts precious. GU is like one of my babies. And the fact that I just erased that, I'm like low-key regretting it. I'm like low-key hurt that I just took away that, you know what I'm saying? But this is for you guys. So let me go ahead and bump to the weekly. Once again, as we always do, let's go ahead and turn these candles into lines. Let's go ahead and blind our moving averages. All right, now let's look for some areas. Now, once again, guys, when we look for areas, don't be up here. What are y'all up here looking for areas? Price is over here. So make sure you find 2 to 3 weekly key levels. Now, what justifies something as a weekly key level? We need to see price respect on both sides. So there's one. Right now, where does price respect? Right here. Below it, right? Mario hits his head on the ceiling, drops down. Not you, Mario. Sorry, like Mario the game. Zoom in, you guys can see. You know, honestly, to hell with the boxes. Once something pisses me off, I'm over with it. All right, let's use the arrows. You guys can see price respected here. I'll put it here on this side so you guys can see. And then also we have price respect here. And that's what's cool, guys. I need you all to understand something. I'm gonna type it in the chat. This is so important for you guys to understand, especially for those of you who are artists. All right. Chart work. You take out the CH is artwork. All right. So when you guys were making paintings and drawing shit for your parents in the 2nd grade, y'all were taking your damn time. I know for a fact. You're like, oh, I'm going to make this look good, right? I'm going to make this look good. So once again, when we're dealing with money and we're dealing with the fact that you guys know there's no need to rush. Take your time. Find literally the cleanest touches. Like be picky. If you find yourself sitting down on the computer to rush through this, you know what I'm saying? You might as well go step away from the computer and come back. Come back at a later time. Come back when you're actually, you know what I'm saying? Go hit the L, go meditate, go get some food, go for a drive, go for a workout, do something, but make sure you don't sit down on these charts, you know, feeling anxious, feeling rushed, or your trading is going to simulate it as well. You know, there's a lot of characteristics inside of your subconscious that's literally, like I tell people, this is important, guys. This is important because there are literally setups in the market every single day. There are setups in the market every single day. But do I trade every day? Hell no. 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 You need to make sure when you actually show up to the battlefield that you're ready, right? It's like I just showed you guys Conor McGregor. I just showed you guys one of the greatest mixed martial arts, one of the greatest fighters of all time. And not only that, he's one of the greatest visualizers of all time. Because if you're able to essentially visualize where it is that you want to go and what it is that you want to do, I promise you, it's only a matter of time, and it's only a matter of how consistent you're willing to be. Show up, put the work in, have belief, and I'm telling you guys, exactly, Conor McGregor is a visionary. He was talking about the things he was going to do well before he did it. So I just showed you guys all the multiple touches, literally, you know, many for you guys to see. This is just to point out the importance of key levels. Now let's start speeding this up because I know there's some more advanced traders on this call. So I try to have a blend of intermediate as well as advanced, you know, to appease everybody. You know, I'm a man of the people, and let's get to work. So as we can see, once again, right here, same thing, to the T, to the T. Y'all can see it, crispy. Take your time. And over time, you won't have to spend as much time finding where these actual spots are touching on both sides. So you guys can see the other one is right here. And also over here to the left. Always look left, guys. Always look left. History repeats itself. That's just how it goes, right? Shout out to J. Cole. Listen to these people. They're visionaries. They're visionaries. Hold on, guys. Hold on. It's 8:28. We got about 15 minutes, and I promise you we're going to mark up GU. So we already have an idea of what we think for EU. We're thinking EU is potentially bearish, but we want to see a double top on H4, as well as some M5, M30 crossover, right? M5, yeah, I appreciate that, Carl. I got one cup. I got one cup in the left hand, something else in the left hand, and I'm using my right hand to mark up all the charts. So I appreciate that. I usually do use control, but you know what I'm saying? I'm one-handed bandit right now. All right, let's get it. 52 people on the call. Y'all are all committed to being better. I appreciate you guys. Once again, I know how valuable this time is, and I'm really all about. If I didn't think it was important, I wouldn't waste my time on it. If I didn't think it was important, we wouldn't be bullshit. And so we're gonna literally these next 15 minutes. I promise y'all, some shit is gonna click. So let's get to it. All right, we pointed out our weekly key levels. All right, now that we've done that, we can get off this line chart. That's literally all that we needed it for. And sometimes, if you really want to find one, guys, the key is using your crosshair. Use your crosshair, and you can look for them and get a much better feel. And boom, there's one that I see right there. And I can't let that one go. You know, three key levels is the max that you want to have, in my opinion. You know, otherwise it's just too many. Because you're going to have key levels on, you know, you're going to have support and resistance on the lower time frames as well. Perfect. So once again, I'm not going to put arrows on these, but I'm going to show you we had a touch on this side. We had a touch on this side. I guarantee there's going to be wicks over here, both, I guarantee. just to show him I'm a man of my word. Like, oh, okay. Oh, all right. Oh, okay. All right, Ben. I got you. All right. So, yeah, you know, and then over here as well, over here. Perfect. All right. Let me go ahead. I can leave the arrows to help the arrows. All right, candles. Let's bring our moving averages back. Put them on. There they are. And for those of you who haven't been on the last two calls, you know, these calls are all being recorded and posting on my YouTube channel. So that way you guys can always feel free to go back and get and tap into any knowledge that you actually want. So now that we've done that, let's bump to the daily. Let's get to it. All right, perfect. So we saw these are weekly key levels, these white areas that we marked. There were weekly key levels on the line chart. Like Vlad said, price is fractal. You know, price is oftentimes trying to trick us. I was having this conversation with one of my, one of my former opponents. We had played American football against each other. And I was telling him how oftentimes the defense will try to disguise a coverage and get you to fall into the trap of what they're disguising it as. So even as we looked at EU and we see, oh, head and shoulders, oftentimes it could still be a disguise, you know? So that's why, once again, don't be over eager. You know, make sure you read the defense. Make sure you take your time. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure you go through your actual, you know, strategy. So we marked up our weekly key levels. We have 3, 1, 2, 3, and they're all around where price is currently at. So hella important. Now, when we look to a daily time frame, all right, we can go ahead and see that overall, just within the last, you know, amount of time, we have an overall uptrend. So we had a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, and a higher low. Now, once again, this is a weekly key level of support. So let's bump down to our 4-hour time frame. These things shouldn't take too often. They shouldn't take too often at all. You know, we should be able to essentially move through it like clockwork. Okay. Now, once again, 4-hour time frame is a little bit trickier because you understand on your daily, this is a higher high, a higher low, a higher high, a higher low. So even still with that said, let's mark up with our random lines a couple key levels that we see. On a strike. On site. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's get it. We got about 12 minutes, but I'm sorry. The Holy Spirit has now entered the chat. I don't think y'all understand how important that is for y'all to be centered with something. But just to let you know, the Holy Spirit has now entered the chat, and we got something for y'all. The Holy Spirit has entered the chat. It's been too long. I had to drop it. Let's get back to it. All right, let's get back to it. So we can use a random line and essentially mark out key levels of 4-hour support. That looks clean. That looks clean. Even still, even around this area, you know, some traders would be like, nah, I wouldn't do that because the wicks are down here. But I like fighting the medians. I like finding areas that everything touches. You know, I want everything to touch on my support. Now, once again, as we look at moving averages, not much happens, not much going on. You know, a little bit of consolidation at the moment. This is the key level that we would want to see break. We can put a 4-hour level of resistance, okay? Let's bump to M30 for a little bit of clarification. Perfect, perfect. You guys can see we had the red over the blue, letting us know on the 30-minute time frame there is bearish momentum, letting me know that I'll probably wait for this area as a potential launch pad. Potential, you know, potential. Now, once again, guys, if I see this area break, then that'll be a break of structure on the 4-hour time frame, meaning that I'll be looking bearish as well. Now, the other thing that's important to remember is the DXY has a big effect on EU. As you guys can see, they're opposites. But GU doesn't always flow directly with the DXY. So keep that in mind, you know. Don't just assume whatever the dollar's doing is gonna affect GU or EU or like, you know what I mean? Understand, each pair is its own dragon. Each pair is its own dragon. The faster you learn how to ride one pair, take your time. Choose what pair is going to be. I recommend trading EU only. I recommend trading UJ only. I recommend trading GA only. You know? So pick a pair. Pick a pair. Now, as we look at the M30 time frame, once again, guys, we can see when we mark our point A, point B, fib retracement. Let's go from the wick of the actual bullish move right here. So where we actually have a median, this area right here, wick, wick, wick. We want all of them to touch, clean, crisp, perfect. We are at 61.8 retracement. If we do, in fact, start to get some, you know, support and some price starts to slow down around these areas or around 100%, we could look to buy. However, if price breaks this level of support, after support is broken, what does it become? Let's see who's in the chat tapped in. Once support is broken, what does it become? Yes, 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 resistance, exactly. So once again, perfect, perfect, perfect. A roof, exactly. Once Mario breaks through, then Mario will be hitting his head on the ceiling and be looking to respect to then drop. When you call on Jesus' name. Exactly. Perfect, perfect. So in my opinion, guys, this is what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at for GU. Perfect, 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 perfect. Potential drop, break, retest. All right. Now, once again, guys, this is more of a, this has been slightly a consolidation, but I want you guys to see where trend broke. Shout out to the DMV in Atlanta. That's where the trend broke, guys. Crisp, crispy, crispy, crispy. It's like the chicken tenders and tater tots I had for dinner. God bless, it was so good. You guys can see that to the T, right? Touch, 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 break, right? And even this break, you would anticipate, once again, shows how little trend lines actually hold their weight sometimes. Because this was the key level of support. This is what still maintained it as an overall bearish trend. And you guys can once again see that on the higher time frame, we do see price starting to get to a point where it's going to have to make a decision, right? It's about to be decision-making time. The 703, you know it, Lex. Exactly, it's decision-making time. So let's go ahead. Let's bump back real quick in our last minutes. Once again, we see the DXY just in the, you know, from the time that we've been on the call, it's starting to show some promising signs. You're right, Vlad, bro. London could be lit. London could be lit. Just this alone is exciting to see, because once again, our true level of support never broke. Once again, how do we test that out? We go to the 4-hour time frame. We see our true level of support. I'll scroll it over so you can see. True level of support never broke, right? Never broke. I can move it up. That's where it really is, but it's all wicks. That just goes to show when you're actually looking at it on the lower time frames, 30-minute time frame, you guys can see it's just wicks, wicks, wicks. Then what do we see on 4-hour? Wicks, 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 right? Over here and over here. So unless this area is broken, it's still overall bullish. And that's the key. It's bullish overall and inverted head and shoulders. Simple as that, guys. Once again, what we're looking for is high probability setups. And I know at first it might get frustrating. You know, I know at first y'all might be looking at these charts and saying, you know, this is so much to learn. He's talking about patterns. He's talking about time frames. He's talking about confluences, support, resistance, moving averages. I get it, guys. I get it. It's a lot. It's a lot. But my mentor came to me a couple years ago, and he said, Jason, if you could learn how to speak Chinese, and you could get paid an endless amount, would you learn how to speak Chinese? And I said, you damn right. I'll start learning how to speak Chinese right now. Right now. Once again, guys, these last 5 minutes is all personal development. These last 5 minutes is all based off psychology, because at the end of the day, the chart work is only going to get you so far. I could have spent this whole call talking about psychology, but because of how important it is. The chart work is only going to get you so far. Without me even having to look at the screen, I can tell you guys what my actual thought process is. Guys, when I played quarterback, we had what was called alignment, assignment, footwork. So as soon as I see the play signaled in, they'll literally hand sign a play in. As soon as I would see it, I would automatically have to go through a checklist in my mind. Alignment, assignment, footwork. Okay? So if it was a pass play, I know my toes had to be at 5.5. Depending on the pass play, I knew which player in the secondary I had to read. I knew I had a tag that I had to read. I had to identify how many linemen had their hand on the ground. I had to identify where I could be having pressure and some type of blitz from, right? That's my assignment. Then my footwork. I know I got to take a big three. I got to have a left hesitation step with a big three. And then as I'm going through my reads, I have footwork to go through as well. The whole point of that, guys, is when you have a checklist, when shit is getting chaotic, when things in your mind are starting to go crazy and you're starting to see drawdown you've never seen, you're starting to use loss you've never seen, you're starting to flow in profit you've never seen, you have to have a checklist. You have to have things that you go through so that way, even while you're shitting your pants, you're still getting the job done. I promise you guys, I know this niche is like it's good and it's bad, right? It's fire and it's ice. Because you know, sometimes, some moments you'll feel like you're on top of the world, and other moments you'll feel like, you know, when am I ever going to catch my break? When am I ever actually going to see the hard work that I've been putting in pay off? And I promise you guys, the key is just continuing to show up. And showing up isn't even enough. It's like once you show up, you got to take what you learned and literally go put it to use. Like you have the same way I just marked up GU and we just looked and gave ourselves a trading idea. Like the amount of people on the call that were probably like, oh, Stu's about to mark up GU and we're gonna all hop in a trade right now. No, I marked up GU to show you guys what I would have to see in order to even think about hopping in. You know, we're not gonna force a setup, guys. The weeks that I've made the most money, I've taken less than 5 trades. Less is more, you know, less is more. But if you don't have the psychology prepared to do it, you know, if you don't have the psychology prepared to be willing to lose money, you know, to be willing to feel like you're wasting time, to be willing to hear people tell you, you know, this shit is, you know, a scam or a waste or, you know, gambling. Like I said before, you damn right. Call it what you want. You want to call it gambling? Cool. There's a lot of casino players that make a good amount of money. You know, I see them boys on ESPN from time to time. Damn near World Series of Poker type shit. I didn't even know that existed. So I was flipping through the channels and I saw World Series of Poker. So there are people that go to the casino and make money? Okay, bet. So what's any different? You know, I'll tell you what's different. It's not all just based on luck. You guys can sharpen your blade, come into the market with a patient mindset, and make moves, right? You got a 1K account, use a 0.1. 1K account, use a 0.1 on every trade for the whole week. And that'll let you know. On every trade, you trade 2 to 3 pairs, use a 0.1. And that'll let you know if you're actually catching more pips than you're losing. That's where I started Texas Hold'em. Exactly, Bray. Salute to Texas Hold'em. It's a game of probabilities. Probabilities. All we're looking for is high probability setup. So it's 8:45, guys. I hope you guys got something, you know, out of this call. Mind over matter results. Game like MJ saw, and the harder you work, the luckier you get. Exactly, Trey. It's that law of attraction. It's like, you know, everybody will show up to practice at 4, but it's the ones that were already there at 3:30 on the foam roller and stretching. So that way when 4 o'clock came around, they were already like, for the last 30 minutes, they've been focused on what they were about to get done versus the kid who's running, putting his socks on at 4:01. Like, oh shit, we about to start. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna be worth it. Keep pushing, keep crafting, keep getting after it. For those of you who are going to the Impact Retreat this week, I'm excited to grind with you guys. I'm excited to level up our minds because once again, you know, I invest into personal development. I invest to go learn from multi-millionaires that aren't even in the field of trading. Why? Why is that important? Warren Buffett doesn't trade Forex that I know of, but would I sit down with Warren? Yes. Grant Cardone isn't in Forex that I know of, but would I sit down with Grant? Yes. So that's the whole key, guys, is, you know, don't always just assume that somebody has to be in Forex to help you level up. You know, at the end of the day, it's the thought process. The only thing that was ever separated me from a 6-figure earner is what they fucking knew. I'm telling you. And at the end of the day, that's the truth. That's the only thing that was separating us. Because I knew I was working just as hard. I knew I was putting in just as much work. I knew I was visualizing it. I knew I had literally quotes and words and verses literally written all over my walls. So I knew I was surrounding myself with the right stuff. I knew the only thing that was separating me from them was what I had up here. And I had to grow on my own even without learning those lessons from them, guys. I had to blow accounts. I had to see what minus 50, 60,000 was in drawdown before I ever saw 103K in profit, right? Don't lose sight of that, guys. I had to hold 50, 60,000 in drawdown in order to see 103K in profit and close. Right? So it's the same in life, guys. It's the same in life. Be willing to endure that drawdown that life brings upon you. Not just on your trading account, but up here. Be willing to endure it. Because I guarantee, once that level of support gets hit, and you say enough is enough, and you get some bullish momentum, it's only a matter of time. So I love you guys. I appreciate you all. This recording will be posted on YouTube. Once again, there's going to be a presentation in about 10 minutes on this link. That's why I have to hop off. But salute to everybody that showed up. Show up, show out. It's Monday night. You know, take some trades, even if it's on demo. Once again, sharpen the blade. Let's get better, guys. Excited to see you all on next week's call. Excited to see you guys at the retreat that are coming. Everybody else, take care. I'll see you guys at the top because it's way too crowded at the bottom. Let's get it, guys.